Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Way of Life podcast. I'm your host, Gus Holland. Today, we're going to be talking about everything you need to know about protein, specifically absorption and the different types of protein, absorption, and bioavailability. First off, there's whey protein. That's the most popular protein. It is the quickest and easiest to digest. You absorb 8 to 10 grams of whey protein per hour, and it can even be more than that. But normally, in comparison to, I get a lot of questions about whey protein versus casein. Casein protein is a slower digesting protein, both of which are found in milk. But I would say overall casein is best to be consumed like before bed or something like that, because it takes, casein, soy, pea protein, so all of those different types of protein, and I'm leaving out a couple, but all of those, give or take, they all they're all absorbed 2 to 2.5 times slower than whey protein. So for example, if whatever the quantity is, if you say it takes 10 grams of whey protein 60 minutes to be absorbed into your bloodstream, then it's going to take 2 to 2.5 hours for that same amount of casein, soy protein, or really almost any other protein to be absorbed. It does not mean that whey is the best, hands down. I would say it's the best for most people in most situations. If you're vegan, obviously you're not going to want to go with a whey protein. You're going to want to go with either, the other one was they have a brown rice protein. I get some other questions about whether, protein consumption frequency, meaning how many times you say you want to consume 150 grams of protein in your day, then people will wonder whether they should take, I'm going to go super extreme now. Almost no one does this, but 10 meals with 15 grams of protein in each meal, or 5 meals with 30 grams of protein in each meal. Overall, it doesn't really matter. Your body can, if it needs it, it will absorb it. 90% of protein in general is absorbed by the body, because the protein is going to be broken down and absorbed from the time you consume it all the way until it reaches your colon, which will take several hours. My point of bringing that up is it doesn't really matter your frequency of meals, just as long as you get your overall, you meet your daily consumption. Daily consumption of protein is also another thing I get a lot of questions about. And so it depends. I would say the standard is 1 gram per day per pound of body weight that you have. That's very general, but it's going to work for most people. That's the simplified version. if you're bulking, you're actually going to probably consume a slightly less amount of protein than you would if you were cutting. This is because when you're bulking, you're going to be trying to gain muscle mass, but you're trying to provide your body with enough carbs and fats to use those as fuel to prevent muscle breakdown, basically, because you're hitting your muscles so hard trying to grow them. So you're going to, I think the number for that is if you're bulking and weight training, you're going to be consuming about, I think it's 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight of protein. And then if you're cutting, it's a little bit higher. It's like 0.9 to 1.2 grams per pound of body weight. I've heard people say as high as 2 grams per pound. That is excessive, and you'll actually know when you're exceeding your protein. Like if you're consuming more protein than your body can actually like take in, when you pee, if your pee is like super bubbly, that normally means that it has excess protein in it. It's kind of weird, but yeah. So the point is that as long as you're, I would say, consuming 3 to 5 meals per day, regardless of what your protein intake is, that's probably like the anabolic sweet spot where you're not going to run into any issues. For me personally, 2 meals a day, I've done everything from like 0 to like 8 meals a day, and yeah, just the 3 to 5 meals a day is the sweet spot for sure. Obviously 0 meals, you're just tearing up your body at that point. 2 per day, that depends if you're, I don't know. I mean, really, some people like to fast, or go with some other diet trend, really, and so that's really the only time you should be doing 2 meals a day. And in my opinion, you really should never be doing 2 meals a day. The thing, since I did bring up fasting, I do want to mention that if you are fasting and maybe you're doing a fasted workout, you want to eat after your workout as soon as possible to prevent muscle loss. If you're not doing like fasted workout or anything, what you're actually looking for is your pre-workout meal, whenever that is, and your post-workout meal, whenever that is. You don't want more than 6 hours in between those two. Just speaking on like an anabolic level, basically. So me personally, I like to eat like a meal, like regardless of whether I work out in the morning or in the afternoon or whatever, I like to eat like 2 hours before. And if I don't have that ability, I'd still like to eat. Maybe I'll just have like a protein shake, which I consider like a light meal, maybe like an hour and a half to an hour before the workout. Any closer to that, I kind of, my stomach starts hurting during my workout, or, you start feeling nauseous or whatever. And then I like to personally consume a meal like within an hour of working out. That's going to help you restore your glycogen levels, and ensure that your body's consuming some sort of protein or something to help that your muscle grow. So really, with most things in the fitness industry, there are some basic things that I've already pointed out about protein consumption, really. But with everything, there's basic things that cover about 90% of what you need to do to be successful. So that's consuming the right amount per day for your weight and your goals. And that's, I mean, truly that's about it. Like staying hydrated, well rested, consuming enough protein. It's a good chunk of it right there. Other than that, that's when you get into more like minute details. And I'm not saying that like people that are strict on certain things like fasted versus non-fasted and certain diets and when to consume protein and how much and all that. I'm not saying that they're wrong. I'm just saying that those are more minute details that if you're not in like the top 10% of athletes, really, then you don't need to stress about it so much. I'm not saying don't worry about it. Just it's not that big of a deal unless you're like a bodybuilder, professional athlete, looking to be a professional athlete. But yeah, that's really about it. Back to Casein, the different types of protein. That is why like Whey is probably the most popular, I would say, is because it has a high absorption rate or fast absorption rate. Sorry. Most people aren't vegan, and it's all around. I would say is better. The real thing you want to look at. Oh, the other thing. Yeah. So the other thing. Sorry, I'm kind of skipping around, but the other thing that you want to look at is protein quality. So that's when, like, say you're sticking to whey protein, which is what I do basically. You're going to want to look for a whey protein isolate. I've mentioned this in different episodes, but an isolate is kind of more of a complete protein, I guess you'd say. Concentrate is kind of lower quality, and it's right alongside casein and vegan protein and everything in absorption rate. So concentrate is also slower, but it's a poor quality of whey. So I would just get a whey isolate. And then if you want, maybe like you're having trouble waking up at night because you get hungry in the middle of the night, or maybe you have like blood sugar issues. There's a lot of different reasons why, but that's what casein is really good for, since it's such a slow digesting protein. Or if you're working in an environment where you don't have easy access to a lot of food or a lunch kit or something like that, you can take casein, and that'll sustain you, at least keep you feeling full for longer throughout the day. So those are some good examples of why you would buy casein protein. Other than that, this is a little bit shorter than I wanted it to be. I know I'm going to think of some other stuff after I'm done, but I can always do a part 2 or something. That's really all you need to worry about. All the other stuff is kind of bullshit, for lack of a better term, or just stuff that only the top tier need to really worry about. So just to further explain the formula, like you can easily stick with a 1 gram per pound of body weight formula. Therefore, I'm 230 pounds. So I would go for 230 grams of protein as long as you're weight training. That formula is a lot less. It's about half of that if you're not weight training. If you're just like a regular civilian that doesn't go to the gym, you're probably not listening to this podcast, but 2, you're going to be consuming about like half your body weight in grams of protein, just for maintenance, really. Other than that, thanks for listening. The Patreon will be out very soon. I don't have an exact date on it. It is created. It's just not published yet. And I've greatly appreciated everybody's support with this. The number one way to support is to share with somebody, and get the word out, basically, to where more people listen to this and we can help more people, you know. You can follow the Instagram at Way of Life Podcast. That's really about it. Thanks for listening and love y'all.